Hey, what's happening, everybody? What's happening, everybody? It's that boy. It's that boy, Rick Titus. It's that boy, Rick Titus with Exquisite Podcast. Listen, we already know, hey, I'm coming. Exquisite Podcast is coming. We're coming. We're located in Waldorf, Maryland. We're located right in the St. Charles Town Center Mall, right around the corner from J.C. Penney. Listen, we got some good things coming. I want you guys in the family to do me a favor. Do me a favor. Do that boy Rick Titus a favor. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. We're in the studio today. Guess what? I got another guest. Mr. Brandon Bruce is going to talk about this real estate. He's going to talk about some other ventures that he has. But we're going to go ahead and get this real estate thing up and popping. But do that boy a favor. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. And also subscribe to the channel, family. Subscribe to the channel. Help the brother out. If you know somebody that want a podcast, or you know somebody that wants something to say or got something to say, send them on over to that boy Rick Titus, so we can go ahead and get their podcast up and popping. Talk to that boy Rick Titus. So, the deal is the deal. This is the deal. Exquisite Podcast can be whatever you want. I want you to help a young Black entrepreneur get his streaming service alive. Now, check this out, family. You don't have to come in the studio. If you got one of these mobile phones, this technology is wild. If you got one of these mobile phones, you can have a mobile phone, a laptop, a desktop, and high-speed internet. We can get your podcast popping. That's all you got to have. That's all you have to have. And then all you got to do is find a subject that you want to talk about. You want to talk about health and wellness. You want to talk about real estate. You want to talk about vending. You want to talk about diabetes. You want to talk about kidney disease. You can talk about anything. Family life. You writing a book. You can be an author. You can talk about that. You can talk about a baby shower that you're getting ready to expose out to the world. Or you can talk about your kids. Anything comes to your mind and your heart, you can talk about that on Exquisite Podcast. So look, I got something popping for you. You better get your water. You better start drinking your coffee. We're going to talk about this real estate. And I want to thank Mr. Brandon Bruce for coming out to help me build this Exquisite Podcast. You got to network with individuals. And then when people see you out there on the internet, they want to know how you did it. You got to put your foot in the mud. I'm coming up out of the mud. I'm coming out of the mud, and I'm coming for you to get your podcast up and popping. I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Bruce. He's going to be talking about the real estate business.
Appreciate that, Rick. First and foremost, man, thanks for having me. We known each other for a couple years, might be longer than that. We known each other for a few years, and I've been seeing you do your thing with the podcast and the studio. I had to come check you out. I'm not as how can you say, seasoned with the virtual world and commercials and shooting videos and stuff as you are, because I've been seeing you do it on another platform even before this one. So I was always watching, and but that's the age that we're in, technology and all that stuff. So that's where we are now. So Rick hit me up probably a couple weeks ago. No, it might have been a couple months ago, because I do a lot of Instagram and Facebook videos to promote my businesses. As he said, I'm a realtor. I'm licensed in the state of Maryland. I do real estate transactions through the whole state. I work for, or at, however you want to call it, Long and Foster Realty out in Crofton. And so that's one of the things that I do, one of my streams. I think that most of us should make it a point to have as many streams of income as you can, because in the world that we live in, you can see, one day your paycheck may be here and one day it may not be. As a youngin', I never really wanted my financial destiny to be controlled by anybody other than myself. So from a young age, probably 16, 17, I got kind of an entrepreneurial spirit about me. So I used to work on cars. A lot of people don't know that. Me and one of my close friends I'm still tight with today, and some family. We used to work on cars back in the day, just to get around, and it got me curious. I remember I went to a bookstore and bought a book. Auto Repair for Dummies was the name of the book, and I read it front to back. And once I started driving and all of that, uh, it really, I started fixing my own stuff, and that's how I kind of supported myself in college, which was working on cars. So oil changes, brake jobs, tune-ups, all that kind of stuff. Me and my roommates, all my buddies, we used to work on people's cars just to get by, have a little money. So uh, that transition as I got older into real estate, just because my father is in real estate. We work as a tandem now, actually. So
Oh, good.
yeah, you kind of, when you hire me, you kind of get two agents for the price of one. I probably shouldn't say that because he might not like the way that sounds, but it's kind of the truth. You may not be paying two people, may not be. You aren't paying two people, but you're getting the experience of two brains. You're getting it from myself, who is a generation. I don't even remember what my generation is. X, Y, one of them. I was born in the 80s, put it like that. You getting that, and then you getting it from his generation, which I won't say which generation he is, but he older than me. Let's just say that. So you get the best of both worlds, and that's kind of how we tag team this real estate thing. And he was doing it. He used to carry me along on little real estate appointments and stuff back when I was young, and I just took a liking to it. So uh, that's kind of how my real estate career got started, and this is year 11 now. I actually got licensed in 2014, and I've been doing it ever since. And I continue to do it. I continue to love it, and I wish that it could be something that I can do on a more than I do it full time now. Most realtors will tell you it's a full time job, but I I'm looking to dive into it a lot more now than I had in the past. So hopefully, with folks that's watching this that want to buy, sell, invest, rent, I cover all of that stuff. And like I said, it's not just me. I got a team behind me uh, that service DC, Maryland, Virginia, national actually, because we can refer out to fellow agents in other states and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's just a brief or not so brief overview of what I do.
Yeah, a lot of people want to know how to get into the real estate game, and we got a realtor here. Some questions that we're gonna jump into, not all of them, because he got some other business that he might want to touch bases on. But what I want you guys to know in the family, go in the description, click on those buttons. He has his telephone number, he has his email in that description. Listen, get in touch with him. If you're looking to buy a house, get in touch with him. Get in touch with him. He's in the Maryland area. We right here in Waldorf, you know, Crofton, not that far. I know somebody sitting at home saying, you know what, Rick, I'm thinking about trying to get a house next month or 3 months from now or 4 months from now. But you got to get in touch with a realtor. We found a good realtor. So listen, do me a favor. Go to Exquisitive Podcast on Facebook. That's our group. I need you guys to go join that group. I need y'all to go join that group. I got to put my plug in while we got our guests in here. Go to Exquisitive Podcast Facebook group. Also, check out his email. He has his telephone number in there. Mr. Bruce, I know if you don't want to buy a house, I know you got a cousin, you got a mother, you got a mom, you got sisters. Everybody needs somewhere to stay. Everybody needs somewhere to lay their heads down. So listen, this is what some of the questions that some people got that I put in the software on this podcast. Current listens that you got going on.
Me right now, I just sold a condo over in. It's classified as Landover or zoned as Landover, but as most of you probably know, the zones are everywhere in our area. What used to be Landover is now Hyattsville, and now it's Glen Arden and things like that. But the long and the short is, I just sold the last listing that I had on the market. It's a condo. It was a nice condo too. Those condos are valued at $300,000 over there, and it needed a little bit of work. And we actually listed it for less than $300,000. I listed it for like $200,000. I have several colleagues and people that I meet. Some of my investors, they came through, made us a nice offer for it, got my seller way more than what they were trying to get. Everybody walked away happy. So I have a rental listing coming up, and I have another condo coming up. One in Greenbelt, one in Glen Arden. So those are coming soon. If you check out my website, you can go to my Instagram. I think it's a shame I say I think, but real estate _ Bruce and the number 3 is my Instagram. I think my man Rick gonna throw it in there for me, so I won't have to look too bad about not knowing my own Instagram. But there you can find me on Facebook.
Give it out again, because some people might not hear you.
Real estate _ Bruce and the number 3. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook with my regular name, Brandon Bruce. And you can find my links to the websites there. You can see all the listings that I've done. You can see all the listings that are in my office. And yeah, you can find all that stuff. Everything that I'm doing business-wise in the world of real estate, all you gotta do is pick up the phone and you can find it online.
We got like about 13 questions on it. We're only gonna do 3 of them.
All right.
We're only gonna do 3 of them. What about this open house? What is an open house listing? What is that?
So an open house listing is when a home house for the public to come and see. What happens is they tell me if they're able to, right, I want to do an open house for this, so that I can get as much exposure as possible. So if you're listing your house with an agent like myself, we're most likely going to list it on what's referred to as the multiple listing service. That is pretty much the largest database that you can list your home on to get the maximum exposure. You can list on third-party sites that you've probably heard of, like Zillow and Trulia and Redfin. You can do all of that independently, but it's much more worth your time and money to hire an agent at whatever the percentage is, and that's a whole nother discussion, but it's much more worth it for you to have an agent do it. Trust me. I mean, when you go to the doctor, you don't just pull anybody off the street. When you get a lawyer, you don't just say, I'm going to do it myself. Now, you hire a professional to do it. So a realtor will list the house for you, have an open house, maybe dress it up with some nice furniture like the ones we sitting on in here, and have the door open for people to come. And people literally just come in and they check it out. They come in with their agents. Some people come in without agents, but that's what an open house is. It gives the public a chance to just come on in, as opposed to what our typical practice is, which is we list your house on the market. There's a set time frame for folks that are able to come and see it. The agent sets it up. You set up a time to go see it. With an open house, which are typically on today's Friday, Saturdays and Sundays, I do an open house report on my Instagram. Check that out. I'll probably have it up tomorrow afternoon. Typically, open houses are Saturdays. So if you just house shopping and you like, hey, I want to go see some open houses, you can contact me. I got a listing of all the ones that are in the state. So you can just set out to go see them. You don't need an appointment, nothing like that. It's literally what it says. It's an open house.
Okay, we're gonna go to the we're gonna go there, we're gonna go right to the next question here. Listen, if you are a buyer, when they say buyer, I'm pretty sure they're talking about buying a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that entail?
So there's 2 types of, well, not 2, but the most common types of buyers are residential buyers and commercial buyers. And then there's investors. So that's why I say it's not just 2. The most common is residential. That's somebody that's trying to buy a house, trying to buy a townhouse, trying to buy a single family home, trying to buy, usually that's what folks are trying to buy. Commercial, folks trying to buy commercial realty, industrial areas and businesses and things like that. So, those are the 2 types. Most folks, and now I'm a residential agent. I don't deal with commercial. I have people that do, but I'm a residential agent. Most of my buyers are looking to buy homes. There's buyers and there's investors. Investors are looking to buy them with the purpose of ultimately turning them over, renting them out, wholesaling them, things like that. But the most common buyer is a residential buyer.
Okay. Okay. Listen, family, listen. Go to Exquisite Podcast. Go and join the Exquisite Podcast group. Go join that group on Facebook. Do me a favor and join that group. Listen, go in the description. Go in the description, and I need you guys to get in touch with Mr. Bruce. We got his email address. It's going down on the ticker line, on that tracker line right now in front of you. Email him. Go in the description and call him. You know, I know somebody's sitting at home saying, "Man, I was thinking about buying a house, but I'm so scared. I don't know about the interest rates. We got that scam. We got and another thing out here. We got the political game going on out here with the Republicans and the Democrats. And what they're doing is y'all they fight against each other. That's what they want you to think, to get your mind off of certain things. That's the reason why you got to look at the news in a third eye. I'm gonna give you some gems before we get off of the real estate, because Mr. Bruce got a lot of other business, because he's helping me out in another business as well too. Now, don't think that Exquisite Podcast is the only game in town that I'm doing. He just said you got to have multiple streams of income. Think about that, family. So, you know, with us in our group, we got to get out of that crab barrel. See, we got crabs in the barrel, and they bumping heads together. You understand? They bumping heads together. So one or two of us may jump out the barrel and start getting off of our behinds and start doing something in the community. That's the reason why I invested into Exquisite Podcast. That's the reason why I did it. That's the reason why I took my hard-earned money that I made. I'm a retired individual. So I said, well, look, I need to get out the house. So now I started calling people. I started, like Mr. Bruce, I called him. I'm saying, man, I need you to come on my podcast. Tell me what your business is and promote it. We just did like 2 podcasts this morning. He's my third one. I'm going to promote it. Somebody's going to get in touch with him and say, hey, look, I saw you on the podcast. I forgot the guy's name. But you know, it was on one of those podcasts out there that they got on the internet. You don't know who may get in touch with you. So do me a favor, family. Go call him. Go in the email, in the description. Email him if you got questions about buying a house. This is that boy, Rick Titus, at Exquisite Podcast. So we're going to go ahead and jump into another topic. You know, tell us what other business out there that somebody might be thinking about doing, and you're doing it. So you can probably get them some quiz and some tutoring on how to get started.
So the first thing I say is, number one, I went to. I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it. I got a degree in business. I hate when people be like, "Oh man, I got a degree in business." I hate when people do that, and I just did it. But I got a degree in business, and the reason why I did that, I really didn't even know. My mother just told me, "You gonna go to college, and I don't care what you do when you get there, but you gonna go." Because I had the background working on the cars and stuff.
Right.
I was like, "Forget it. I'm gonna just open up an auto repair shop." So to do that, I want to have a business degree so that can't nobody come and try to check me. So I went ahead and did that. And I say that to say, when you have a background like that from Morgan State University, I just plugged them too. When you have a background like that, you get a lot of people that come to you with propositions.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people that come to me, hey man, you know, I want to start this type of business and that type of business. And there was some that end up working out, and there were others that may not have worked out as great. That's business for you. But what I ended up learning, and I'm gonna credit my father with this, I came to him with another business idea one day, and he was like, well, do you really enjoy doing this? And I'm like, well, my short answer was, well, nah, but there's money into it. And he had to tell me, like, if you don't love doing something, you probably don't need to do it as a business. Whatever your business is, you want to have a love for it. Most of us have jobs or had jobs 9 to 5 that we probably didn't like that much, but you did it for the check, which I understand. Again, most of us are doing that. But on the side, if you find something that you actually like doing, some people like doing hair. I know a lot of ladies doing lashes and stuff like that now. People like to do makeup, carpet cleaning, travel businesses, event plannings, things like that. If you find that you love to do it, that's probably the business that you should stick to and work it as though it's your everything. Because it's not work at that point. It's kind of, you know, if it's not work, then that's probably the best type of business to be involved in. So I don't know if I answered the question directly, but I mean, I had a lot of people shoot stuff at me, and what I ended up falling into was uh, the vending machine business. And I fell into that because one day I was on Craigslist. YouTube wasn't even popping like that. This was like in 2007. I just graduated from college. I was at home. I had a decent job, but I wanted to do something on the side. I hadn't gotten into real estate yet, and um how'd it go? Oh, I was on Craigslist, and I was looking up just various businesses, and ATM machines kept coming across the feed.
Mm.
So I'm researching ATMs. I'm knee deep into ATMs, and it just seemed like too much overhead because I was young and broke, still broke, but I didn't have any money to invest into that. Some way or another, vending machines ended up coming in the algorithm at some point. I met with a wholesale guy that does business in this area, still here. That's my man to this day. He was in the business 20 something, 30 years at that point. That was in '07. I met with him and I basically interned with him for like 2 years, just following him around, going on his routes, going on his repairs, going on his restocks,
Mhm.
everything, to the point where I ended up becoming one of his drivers. Uh, I would help him deliver machines. I still do that. Repo machines, that is a thing.
Mm.
And all kinds of repairing and everything. So it was really an unofficial internship. And after the second year, I told him I want to get a location of my own. He gave me the number. You can email me to talk about the numbers with that stuff. He gave me the number. I came up with the number, and that's how I got my first location. I had a snack machine and a soda machine um, in a Model Sporting Goods, which is now out of business, but a Model Sporting Goods only in the stock room. And those were my first machines. I had them for maybe 2 or 3 years before I expanded, but that is how I got my start. And I just saw that I liked it. It's machinery. I already had experience working with my hands. And so with machines, they're gonna break, but it may be a long time before they break. So it, it's just like with any money getting business, you wanna find out how much it costs and you wanna double up on it to get your profit back, and you just keep flipping it and going like that. So that's how I started. So to kind of put a button on what I'm saying, um, I, I eventually got into real estate and I had a 9 to 5, and 3 is one of my favorite numbers, which is why it's in my Instagram name. Uh, and Allen Iverson used to be my man back in the day. 3 is my number. So I had 9 to 5. I started the vending and real estate. All that to say, there's several different businesses and things you can get into, but stick to what you do and have your limit. 3 is my limit. I still have people that come to me now. Hey, you want to get in this, get in that? Nah, man, I can't do it. My plate full. I can't get into nothing else because I want to devote everything I have into the things that I love, because something's going to suffer if I add something to it. So just don't get greedy. Money's going to come if you're doing things that you enjoy. So extremely long way of answering your question. I apologize, but that's kind of how it was for me.
Well, family, I hope you're taking some notes. Listen, just like what he just said, I love doing podcasts. I love doing softwares. I love talking to individuals. I love the camera. I love being on the camera. So I had to find something that I can do without getting paid for doing it. 'Cause you know what I mean? If you love doing something that you love, the income is going to come in just like how he just said it. Just like how he said it, just like how I met him. So my venture now is the podcast. So do me a favor. Go in the description, click on that email, give Mr. Bruce a call, and talk to him. Because see, this podcast is gonna air in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, in about 24 hours, we're gonna have about a good 200 people watching this podcast. I'm telling you, family. So do that boy Rick Titus a favor and go to Exquisite Podcast on Facebook and join that group. And join that group. And family, listen to me real good. Listen to me real good. Email Mr. Bruce. Email him. Call him. Somebody out there need a home. Somebody out there needs something that they want to do. Want to lay their heads down. Somebody, and that person might be that person that's looking at this video right now. So let's go ahead and get this thing here popping. Let's get it popping. I'm gonna ask him one more question, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close this podcast out. But I'm gonna leave y'all with some gems. You know that boy Rick Titus always got something to put on your backside. I want you to scratch. You know, we got to start reading books. And we the only group out here in America that don't pull together. See, he came and did a podcast. I didn't know what his schedule was. I called him. I don't care if I call everybody in Washington, D.C. Huh? All I need is one. And that one gonna get me to two. That two gonna get me to three. See, that's what my vision is. And especially when you're now investing to a company, you want to make it work. You're gonna make it work because you're not put some income in this thing. So listen, family. Before I cut this podcast off, I'm gonna ask him one question, but let me leave y'all with this gems, something for you to study, something for you to put on your mind. Have you guys ever heard of eminent domain? We got some FBAs out here that has a problem in the state of Georgia. They bought the house, like what we're talking about. All right? They bought the land. I'm gonna say that again. They bought the house. They bought the property. I don't know, 600 acres or something like that. I forgot what the story entails, but it's a pretty large acre. Now, guess what's happening? Guess what the shenanigan is going on in the state of Georgia with the eminent domain? They get ready to run a railroad. I ain't talking about a horse and buggy. I'm talking about a railroad in the backyard. It needs people backyard, and they older people that look just like you and I. What is going on? So if you don't believe me, look up that word eminent domain, and then you do some study. You start going out and saying, well, maybe I might can send them some kind of income to support them or to help them. Because that might be happening in the state of Maryland. It might be happening in Virginia. And it can't happen in D.C. because D.C. is not a state. Okay, so look up that word eminent domain. So you know when you watching that boy Rick Titus, I got something for you. Every time I do I'm gonna make you stir that coffee up so you can get out of your way and join Exquisite Podcast. Get in that group. Get in that group on Facebook. Go in the description and click on that email. Go in the description and call Mr. Bruce. Somebody out there is waiting. Somebody's out there in that crowd barrel. All right. So my ending question is this. If you're in the real estate and you're in the vending, what can go wrong, completely wrong, when you got a vending business? I ain't talking about the supplies that you put in it. I'm talking about something major that's going to take about a good 30 days to get it fixed. Help me out on that, and then I'll end it when you turn it back over to me.
Now, just so I'm clear on what you're asking, what can go wrong in the vending business that can cause something like that?
Let's say I got a soda machine and the soda machine ain't working. I got to put the sodas in it, but I can't open the door, or I can't. It's not keeping the sodas cold. What can I do to get that fixed?
Okay, I got you. So the short answer is you call me. Shameless plug. But for everybody else that's out there, like I said, I used to work with my man. Well, not used to. I still work with him. BP Companies, Mr. Holmes. If you've been around me with vending, you know him. He's a jack of all trades when it comes to the vending business. He knows it. He's been in it, and he was a student. Literally went to school for it way back. I shouldn't say it. Some years ago, when they were teaching folks in the Midwest at the manufacturers and factories where they build the machines at. Dixie Narco or some of them, and even Pepsi Cola and all those guys. He's a student of that. I say that to say he knows almost everything, but how to fix it. With a situation like that, I've been on site with him where he has literally a hammer, nails, drills, a drill bit, and it's a tool called a punch, where you would have to, a situation like that where your lock is stuck, you would have to put a nail into the little T handle where the key would go, screw your nail in there, take your lock, take your drill a hole through all of that to get the nail stuck, and take the punch and pretty much pull it all the way out. It sounds a lot more stressful than it really was. I never done it myself. The only way I pop the lock is really just to drill a hole straight through, keep drilling until you can't drill no more, and then it'll come out. But that is something that could slow you up. I mean, I guess another thing that could take you off the grid business-wise for a few days would be something electrical within your machine. You may hook up an electrical component in the machine without turning it off first. As soon as you do that, it's going to short your machine. You may burn out your computer board, and now the machine doesn't work at all. I've had other things happen that took me off the map for a couple of days, but that would be the way that I would go about solving that problem you just named. You got to drill a hole straight through the lock. Basically, you ruin the lock. You're going to have to get another one, but it will pop the latch on the actual lock and allow you to open up the door.
Okay. Hey, listen. I want to thank Mr. Bruce for coming in and getting on this podcast. I want to thank him so much for helping me out, helping another brother out at Exquisite Podcast. Before we end this show, I'd like for you guys to do me a favor. Like, share, and comment. Like, share, and comment. Go in the description box. Go in that DM. Look at that email. Put that email in your laptop or on your cell phone. Email him with Long and Foster so you can get your house or get your townhouse, and so you can get something established so he can talk to you. Call him. His number is in the description. His email is going through the ticker line right now. Give him a call or email him. Go to Exquisite Podcast Facebook group and join the Facebook group and get your podcast up and popping. If you got something that you got to say, if you want something that you want to say, come and see that boy, Rick Titus, at Exquisite Podcast in Waldorf, Maryland, at the St. Charles Town Center Mall, right around the corner from J.C. Penney's. Guess what? Who said it couldn't be done? We'll see you in another video.
Wow.